Hi, mystery readers. Welcome to Write a Killer Mystery, where we talk about making a good mystery great. And today we're going to review what it takes to create that puzzle that mystifies your reader and keeps them guessing through the book. First, I want to thank my supporters on Patreon who support this video series that comes to you every week. And if you'd like to join in support, there's a link in the description below. So let's talk about how to create a mystery puzzle readers will love. Alright. We talk a lot here about structure, and structure is important to your story, but at the same time, all the time we are also creating a puzzle for our readers. We're keeping them guessing, keeping them wondering, who did it? Is this the thing that's going to tell me who it is? So a successful mystery novel keeps readers guessing through the most of the book. And as an author, you create a puzzle that doesn't work until that final piece drops in, that final reveal of who the villain is. Between the discovery of the crime and the final reveal, which is the beginning of the book and the end of the book, your work is to create a puzzle for the reader that keeps them wondering who did it. That's our job as mystery writer. So there are a lot of puzzle pieces that you can use to keep your reader puzzled. And what you want to do is integrate all those various puzzle pieces together so that all along the way you're dropping in something that keeps your reader guessing. So to create that puzzle challenge, you need to balance the crime, the victim, the suspects, the clues, and even your detective skills, so that as you talk about each of these things scene by scene in your story, the reader is always wondering, is this the thing that I should take notice of? Alright, and you also create each of these puzzle pieces so they interact with the other puzzle pieces, to keep your reader asking questions. You're going to craft your mysteries to make your reader feel disoriented, exhausted, and excited to solve the puzzle. Observant readers will find familiar scenarios and symbols everywhere, making for an ever-thinning net of clues to unravel throughout the book. It's our job to just keep those clues, those thoughts, those questions coming right up to the very end. All right, so let's look at a few of these things and see how they work and how you use them to raise those questions. First of all, there's the crime itself, and in a mystery, it's usually a murder. It's the initial pivot point that sets your detective and your reader on the path of assembling all those other puzzle pieces you're going to give them, and then arranging them in a way that solves the mystery. So here are some questions that the crime itself can raise for your reader. What was the method of the murder? Sometimes it is not obvious. On the other hand, what may look like an obvious way that, say, your victim was killed, doesn't exactly correlate with who the detective thinks might be the villain, all right? Another question that you raise with the crime is, why was that victim killed in the first place? And that involves a lot of the discovery process that your detective goes through as they delve into the victim's life and their background and the world around them and the people that they knew and how they interacted with those people. And of course, it raises the question of who did it, which is going to be that final puzzle piece at the end of your story. And then also it's why they did it. And there are probably going to be a lot of clues along the way as to the why. And you'll answer all of those questions by the end of your story. But first you have to raise the questions. You have to set up all these questions in your reader's mind. All right, another part of the puzzle is the victim themselves. The victim raises questions that linger throughout your story. Your detective must dig deep into the victim's life and personality to discover why somebody would want to kill them. And you'll need to raise questions around their public personality and their private life and what actions they took to create someone's desire to kill them. What was it about this person that triggered this murderous action in somebody else? What was it about the victim that did that? All right. Also, you want to know who their friends were and how they related to those friends, to those suspects, and who of their acquaintances is a suspect. Not everybody they knew is going to be a suspect in the mystery, all right? So as your detective discovers more about the victim and their world, you're raising lots of questions for your reader. And then, of course, there's a thing that everybody thinks about when they think about mystery stories, and that is the clues themselves. Clues include evidence and physical findings and even statements and hints by suspects. Anything that points toward who committed the crime, all right? Those are clues. Each clue points toward the villain, but during the bulk of your story, they seem unconnected. The clues seem unconnected. They may be unconnected to each other. They don't seem connected to the villain themselves, or there's no way that your detective or the reader can figure out why this one clue, whatever it might be, is relevant to solving the mystery. All right. You can also use red herrings, and those are clues that aren't really clues. They appear like clues, and as your detective delves into them, whoops, they aren't. You don't want to use too many, but you can use several to kind of keep your readers guessing. Oh, whoops, that wasn't the thing after all. All right. Along the way, your detective is going to make some false assumptions about the things that they discover, both the physical evidence, as it were, and also the false assumptions they make about suspects. You'll hide important clues among other pieces of information so they don't come blinking with neon lights and flashing, saying, "Hi, I'm a clue, I'm a clue." You want to be more subtle about your clues than that. You want to keep your reader wondering which pieces of information are the real clues. So when crafting your clues, you should work hard to find the perfect balance between the ease of comprehension and the scale of the puzzle. So you don't want to make your clues too obvious. On the other hand, you don't want to bury them so deeply that your reader doesn't remember them at all. Right? The goal at the end, as far as our connection with the reader, is they want to go, oh, I should have guessed it. All the signals were there all along. I just didn't put it together. Okay. So another element of creating your puzzle are the suspects. All those people who seem like they have the possibility of being the villain. And of course, the villain for most of your story is one of the suspects. All right. So you want to make sure that you create multi-dimensional suspects. It's a powerful way to enhance your mystery puzzle. So each suspect is going to have a very distinct personality, a very distinct relationship that they had to the victim. And these are the things that your detective must uncover. So each suspect also has personal things about their life they just don't want made public. So they may also keep those things from your detective, and your detective's like, something isn't ringing true here. But it may not be. It's like it is like a red herring. It's like the thing the suspect wants to keep hidden, but it doesn't really relate directly to the crime. So you can do that too. So some of the things you really want to delineate are the suspect's relationship to the victim, and the suspect's relationship also to the other suspects, because each of the suspects can shed light on the other suspects. All right. And then also their personal reasons for holding back information, whether it relates to the crime or not. So all of these interrelationships will help you create a puzzle that baffles your detective and also your reader, and they really serve as the bulk of most of your story. Then, of course, out of all those suspects, one of them is the villain. And for most of the mystery, the villain is just one of several suspects. But you'll use all the questions that you raise about the other suspects, and you're raising questions about this suspect too. But you'll hold back that one piece, the missing puzzle piece, that lets all the other pieces fall into place. You want to save that until the very end. All right. Then something that a lot of people don't think about as raising questions and creating a puzzle for your mystery is the detective themselves. Everything the reader learns is guided by your detective and their skills and their insights and their strengths and their shortcomings. And so your detective is all the while giving your reader a picture of this big puzzle. But if you're doing a good job, you're going to give your detective shortcomings and strong opinions and a personality that colors how they interpret every piece of information that they encounter. They may have aversion to a suspect that keeps them from learning important information, or their logical approach may keep them from understanding emotional ties between the suspects. If they're very logical, they may not understand how emotions can color things. All right. So you're using your detective as a filter to how your reader learns and interprets information. Okay, this is a quick overview, but basically what you want to do is keep raising questions, and put all these pieces together so they work together throughout your story. And as you add the puzzle pieces, keep in mind your goal is to keep that last puzzle piece hidden until the end. And the readers will need to put the clues together and figure out who the murderer is. And if they can't figure it out, they will be rewarded with a thrilling ending in it. And that's your job. All these puzzle pieces, all these puzzle pieces. So, that's it. I hope that helps. If you have any questions about how all these pieces fit together, or how you use clues, or what you do with suspects, be sure to put them in the comments below. And also, one other thing that I would like to suggest, because there's a lot to keep track of, all these different bits and pieces of information. It's kind of like, as mystery writers, we're data collectors, right? Um, a great tool for this is Plotter, which does help you plot your story, but you can also create one line, which is just where you plant all the clues in your story. I know a lot of mystery writers who use Plotter use it that way. So they plot the story, but they also keep a timeline of where the clues drop in their story. And also there's a way to keep information. There's a way to keep information about material things. So if you want to have notes about how a specific weapon works or anything like that, you can keep that in Plotter as well. So there's a link in the description below for Plotter, so you can take a look at it and see if it's something that might help you. Okay, so keep writing, keep creating those questions for your readers, and I will see you next time. Thanks for being here.